After 9 years, Beaumont Hills hadn't really altered. The air still smelled of superiority and well-kept roses. The scuffs from my previous shoes were still visible on every cobblestone leading to the country club's entrance. Perhaps that's why I didn't hesitate, even though my name wasn't on the guest list. I stepped out of the black sedan, adjusted my cufflinks. This wasn't about being polite. I knew the moment I read the email invitation. I wasn't supposed to receive. This wasn't about closure either. It was about proving something, that I was still alive. That I had changed. Inside, chandeliers glistened with the weight of ancient money, the kind that forgets people, dripping light like golden tears. I wasn't meant to be in that room, but I walked in like I owned it. I heard music playing, courteous, laughter, and the sound of expensive champagne being poured into flutes thinner than air. I didn't flinch. I grinned. As my shoes clicked against marble more expensive than my first apartment. The scene was cinematic. Every great movie has that moment. That pause before the audience realizes what's about to happen. Then came Claudia Whitmore's ice-chilled voice. She stood up straighter as her gaze landed on me. She interrupted her conversation mid-sip and snapped, sharp and proud, "Why are you here?" No whisper, no subtlety, just a declaration. Loud, harsh, expected. That crowd was never known for grace. Her shoulders were still stiff. Pearls looped around her neck like a leash she chose to wear. I didn't flinch when Juliet appeared by the marble bar. She was laughing with a group of women, their shoes clicking like condemnation, their perfume reeking of designer remorse. Juliet turned slowly, gracefully like she always had. Her gaze touched mine with all the indifference you'd offer a fly on your arm. "You're not on the guest list," she said, her voice honeyed and cruel. There she was, Juliet Whitmore, once my wife, now a stranger, covered in sequins, her outfit shining like it had something to prove. I remembered when I used to unzip dresses like that, when she was still laughing and calling my name in the dark, like it meant something. She dismissed me with her eyes. Barely a flicker. That should have been my cue to leave, shrink like a good ex-husband and vanish into the failure they expected me to be. But I didn't move, didn't raise my voice, didn't beg. I smiled. That kind of smile. The kind you give before a storm breaks loose. I said, just loud enough for nearby tables to hear. The thing about ghosts is, they never really leave. And I watched the words curl around Claudia's throat. I watched Juliet's eyes twitch. Her friends whispered behind manicured hands. The music kept playing. But it felt quieter now. The room leaned into the tension, like iron drawn to a magnet. I didn't stay long after that. The ballroom felt like a museum of my own history. Oil paintings of donors with empty eyes stared down from gilded frames. I walked through them like I belonged, because I had. This was the world that once spit me out like gum under a shoe, but I didn't come to beg for re-entry. I came to remind them. I never left. As I reached the exit, someone whispered, "Was that Silas?" Yes. Silas Whitmore. I kept the name legally, not because I liked it, but because it still made people uncomfortable. I wanted them to see it. On every document, news article, and plaque that featured my work, I wanted them to remember the man they tried to erase. The valet blinked as I approached. He wore a tailored suit, the kind of jawline that comes from rebuilding your entire life. "Name?" he asked. "Silas Whitmore," I replied calmly, and as he ran off, I turned. One last look at that club, not with longing, with warning, because this time I wasn't arriving empty-handed. They rewrite history in places like Beaumont Hills. Quiet omissions, polished lies, money and power have scrubbed their version of me clean. But I remember everything. I was once the heart of Juliet's world, her husband, her partner, not always the outsider. I held her trembling hands when her first boutique opened. I drew the storefront design on the back of a napkin, poured my sweat into her dream until it became a brand the Whitmores could boast about. But I was never one of them, just a novelty. A diversity project with potential. Gregory Whitmore once said that. That should have been my first warning. But I believed in love. I believed my presence made a difference, until it all unraveled. Claudia corrected my grammar, in front of donors. Juliet laughed. Gregory suggested I stop showing up so much. That night, a dinner with crystal glasses and scarlet dresses, Juliet wore a red gown that looked like it had been sewn from affection. I thought we were okay, until I noticed Claudia whispering to Gregory. He nodded, expressionless, and by dessert. I was already forgotten. When I got home that night, evicted. The door wouldn't open. I thought I had the wrong key. I knocked. No answer. I found 2 suitcases by the garden, our old wine and kisses corner. My phone buzzed, a single message from Juliet, 4 words. Sorry, it's over, goodbye. I tried calling. No answer. Then Gregory showed up. Black Jaguar, business armor. No tie, he said, just power. This is for the best. He left, just like that. No fight, no tears, just gone. I sat on that porch with a bottle of brandy and silence louder than thunder. They didn't just break up with me. They erased me. Weeks passed. My name disappeared from Juliet's boutique website. My designs vanished. Photos removed. Friends ghosted. Calls ignored. I slept in my car. Then on Terrence's couch. He's the only one who stayed. The only one who helped. I walked the city with a sketch pad and a bruised heart. One day, I saw Juliet's name on an old storefront I designed. She took credit, called it her vision. The world applauded. No one asked who drew the blueprints. Silence. Silence was the worst part. Not the hunger, not the couch, not even Juliet. It was the fact that no one came looking. No one asked if I was okay. They didn't just throw me out. They rewrote the story. But the truth? They feared who I might become without them. And I did become something. Rock bottom wasn't a metaphor. It was a one-room studio over a bakery, burnt coffee, humming ovens, trash cans, outnumbered people. But I had a door, a lock. And slowly I rebuilt. Freelance drafting, basement, remodels, furniture delivery. My back ached. But I kept drawing, and then I met Terrence Clay. No gold watch, no cufflinks, just a man who noticed. He stared at one of my renderings. A mixed-use building rooted in community. You did this? He asked. I nodded. He said, I could use someone with vision, and that's where this all begins.